Bat music. Bat is not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the show that sends you sliding through Tim Burton's Batman Returns 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other host, Niall McGowan.
And joining us once again, we have the one, the only. I'm sure you've heard him everywhere on the 800 million wonderful shows that he has done. It is Brady Crane.
Hey, thanks for having me back. It's so nice to be here for the last show, and good to join again today. I think, let's see, when was Batman at 89? Oh. The first season. Was that a year? Was that last year? The year before?
2017?
Okay, so 2017.
Was that right?
Oh my God, was it that long? Oh my God, it would be. Yeah, jeez. That seems like, that's like 2 years ago now. Oh my God.
Too long.
That's insane. Oh my God, where does the time go? I'm getting old. Ah. But we don't want to feel bad. We want to be happy. We're happy doing this. Brady's happy.
Exactly.
He feels good busting ghosts. We can't promise.
Exactly right. Yeah.
We can't promise there's going to be ghosts. So we'll try and keep things light for you though. But this is minute 89. The minute starts with one sassy bat, and it ends with Alfred starting his own movies by minutes project.
Oh. We also would be remiss of saying that one was Batman at 89. This is Batman at 89. It's minute 89.
Hey, there you
go. Oh, hang on. Yeah, what? How did I not pick up on this? What the hell?
How did you not pick up on that? I was waiting for the reference.
Oh, God damn it. But yes, we start here. We're back as Alfred is explaining to Bruce that they need to repair the Batmobile. They can't just take it to a garage to get it tarted up. You know, he stresses the need for security.
I guess there's another thing, though, of like, oh, is this the first time these guys have ever considered, like, what if something happened to the Batmobile? Like,
yeah.
As if, like, oh my God, someone managed to actually damage it in some way. What are we going to do?
You would think that, they would have had some kind of contingency for every problem that could come up. So if this was the first time they've ever... when Alfred says that, Bruce should have said, like, oh, well, our original game plan if something like this should go down was this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like they ever said anything, so...
It's quite cocky, I think, because they assumed, oh, well, the Batmobile is an impenetrable tank. But come on, you need to always assume the worst. We know this as podcasters. You lose audio all the damn time.
Oh, yeah.
You need to always assume the worst.
Yeah.
You've got to think that Batmobile is going to be blown up every day.
Yeah. It's like, always be assuming, Alfred. Come on. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, because he says, like, oh, it's not as if we can take it to any old Joe's body shop. No, is it, sir? But should mention, though, like, we have various people throughout, various iterations of Batman who actually do take care of the Batmobile in certain ways. I know, Brady, you mentioned last episode, of course, Darren Aronofsky's original plan was to have Alfred be a mechanic named Al, who would look after Bruce and the Batmobile. And, of course... coming up soon after this movie was released, of course, you had the Batman animated series where the Batmobile was repaired in basically any old Joe's body shop. Because he had a character who featured in the episode The Mechanic, Earl Cooper, who was a fella, and that's, I think he only appears in the one story, but like, I think he's like an engineer who is fired from a major corporation working with like Wayne Enterprises because he's like, oh, this technology is not safe. And then, because he's trying to be a whistleblower, he almost gets killed, but Batman saves him. And then at one point, Batman then arrives months later when this guy can't get any other work because he's kind of been blacklisted to say, like, yeah, he arrives in this real old banger of a Batmobile. Just like, I will give you whatever you need, just build me a car. And so every time the Batmobile is damaged in any way, they take it to Earl Cooper and his daughter, who was basically running like a body shop, like a real dingy-looking whole place, which has all the money in the world that's pumped into it because its primary focus is to be there on retainer for the Batmobile and stuff. So
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, in that episode, he's actually I mentioned that episode before, actually, because it features the Penguin taking over the Batmobile and stuff. But he's played by Earl Cooper's played by Paul Winifred. But of course, Paul Winifred then went on to work with Tim Burton himself. He appears in Mars Attacks, and he also did the voice of Lucius Sweet in The Simpsons, who is the Don King sort of promoter of Drederick Tatum and stuff.
Man, everything's connected.
Yeah,
Everything.
I can't recall his whole I'll take your check for $30,000 and get out of my sight. But someone in the Bruce Timm offices was just like, oh well, maybe we will do that for the how they fix the Batmobile. But
that show went to some crazy places sometimes. Like you would think they were maybe out of ideas, and then they would do something that's just like, wow, what? Where did you come up with that? That's not like a traditional storyline or anything, which I like. I like that about the show.
Oh yeah,
it's a cool show.
They do random episodes of well, you thought the entire episode Batman was dead, and it turns out that you're just following this random criminal the whole time.
It's a great idea. I'd like to see some. I'd like to see that translated almost into live action. But I don't know if they'd get away with it these days. I don't know if they'd be able to pull it off. I mean, Gotham kind of rides that line of weird, trying to be sort of cartoony, but not. It tries to be serious. It's weird. I don't like it.
But of course, then we get the sort of almost infamous bit now, though, of Bruce Wayne saying security. Who was it who let Vicky Vale into the Batcave?
Yeah, that's nasty. Yeah. What a horrible thing to say.
Seriously, man. Hey, you're lucky you still have a job here, buddy.
And he was just trying to hook them up, have them marry, have little baby bats flying around, that kind of thing.
Exactly. I think it's interesting that the reference to Vicky Vale. I always enjoy when there's some kind of a little tie to the previous installment. Yeah. And just to kind of remind you, hey, we are still in the same world here. This is still the same universe. I don't think it's quite enough in the films that follow this to just have the same actor playing Alfred and Commissioner Gordon show up because, I don't know, that's almost kind of too obvious. But a reference like this just says, hey, this, these things are connected.
Yeah, yeah.
There's still that connective tissue. Say, take something like the Bond movies, for example, or even I guess that's a good example, where the previous love interest is just non-existent in the next one. It works there, I get it, but in something like this, I just think there would be something great to just kind of tie these things together, even if it's just one little bit of dialogue. So I'm glad this reference is here.
No, definitely, because Bruce/Batman, he's not Bond. I don't want that for this series. It should be, okay, you want it to be accessible to newcomers. Especially back then, big franchises with superheroes weren't really a thing. You're constantly trying to sell it to people, aren't you? But imagine that, and if you just had a different love interest, no mentioning of Vicky even slightly, it'd be odd to me. It would feel wrong.
Yeah.
Especially with the same director, it's all the same cast, things like that.
Apparently, though, this was coerced into the movie by Dan Waters himself. So Tim Burton was very stoically at the beginning going, can we just pretend the first movie didn't happen because he was unhappy with it. But apparently Dan Waters had such a problem with the fact that Alfred let Vicky Vale into the Batcave that he brought it up to Tim and was like, yeah, that always really annoyed me. Can I just put in and I know it annoyed the fans as well. Can we not just put in a line addressing it? And so they put it in this little sassy line as if, but the thing is though, they're treating it as if oh yeah, what a dick move by Alfred. But it's well, at that point in the movie, Vicky Vale had figured out everything. If she marches in and says, I know he's Batman, let me down there. And, and Alfred knows all the emotional weight of this and stuff. It seems fine to me that he's just okay, yeah, well, maybe you can go talk him out of this crazy crap that he's doing down there. So, yeah, I know a lot of people still do begrudge the fact that Alfred let that little security slip happen, but it made sense in the context.
Picky. So. Yeah. And the strict draft does a good bit. There's a little bit of extra dialogue where he has a bit of a dig at Vicky. Because Bruce says, Selina, more facets than Vicky. Funny, but sort of mysterious. So it's kind of well, this new Selina, she's better than that old one.
If you let her in the Batcave, maybe I wouldn't mind, Alfred.
Man, somebody's not bitter.
That's a horrible attitude, Bruce. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
It's also-
You're bigger than that.
It's also the fact, though, he says, like, oh, I'm sitting there working, and I turn around, and I'm like, oh, hey, Vic, come on in. It's like, well, you were sitting down working, you're sitting around moping. That's all you were doing. You were sitting staring at a computer screen, thinking about your parents' death. Again, Bruce, come on.
Loser.
That would be pretty awful. Yeah, you loser.
But then, of course, you get like one of my favorite things in the whole movie of Bruce's secret entrance to the Batcave.
Yes.
Which is just fantastic. Like this giant fish tank that has a replica of Wayne Manor at the bottom.
Right. I never realized again. I sound like an idiot this week. Until researching for this minute, I didn't put two and two together and realize that was Wayne Manor. And then I was looking at the script and was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here talking about things that connect the movies to one another. In each of these first 4 movies that are in whatever the same series, Wayne Manor changes every time, does it not? Every time. And I'm like, now that's a pretty big departure. That's something that doesn't need explaining, obviously, but like is pretty noticeable. So obviously they were like, you know, we don't care.
It's not subtle
change
changes.
this
Like,
thing.
oh, you're seeing a different part of it. No, it's completely different.
Because I know they,
Right.
because there's no exterior shots of them, like Bruce walking out the door or anything. And this time, like there was in the first movie, so I'm fairly certain because I've seen shots of them with a model of Wayne Manor for this. I'm pretty sure it is all a model in that one. It wouldn't surprise me if this was the model they used and they just stuck it in the fish tank.
I think it's like come Batman and Robin, the trees around it are, they have like Spanish moss hanging from the limbs. It's like, where is this place? Like, where in the hell is it?
I kind of like that, though. It's because not only, as we constantly talk about, is it hard to place its time, but it's hard to place its, well, place. We know it's America.
Yeah.
We have a vague, it's kind of based on this city, you know. But nothing fits properly. It's a mysterious, fake other
which
world.
Is right, really goes to the movie's, I say that plural, benefit, is that you can't place the time, you can't place the location exactly, and that just really, really, really fits within what Tim Burton set up.
Yeah.
And Joel Schumacher carried forth, you know?
Yeah, in some ways, he really ran with that concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I love the fact as well, though, that what he seems to be doing is that he's pressing the doorbell of Wayne Manor as well. Which is it's a very cute little idea of like, oh yeah, that's a nice one. Like it's like a joke.
What if one of the fish bumps it though?
Well, that's
with
a good
its
question.
nose.
Good point.
Yeah. Although I like it,
point.
and that's a joke only him and Alfred will ever get. Like, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Alfred designed this entrance for Bruce after the whole Vicky Vale debacle. He's just like, oh, I know how to make it up to him. I'll do this.
Yeah. Is the Iron Maiden thing? I'm using the right term there, right?
Yeah.
The thing, okay, crawls into. Wasn't that also in Batman Forever? He uses the same thing from like his office to get back to the Batcave.
Well, yeah, like they do like a kind of ultra version of it, but it's like it's in his office chair. Yeah, he slips down into this tunnel that seems to go on for like miles or something.
Yeah, several city blocks. Yeah. Good Lord.
I actually find it utterly hilarious that it's got the Iron Maiden has spikes inside of it, right? Because there's no need for that. There's no need at all. And it seems kind of dangerous. I know that we find out they pop in. Okay, they kind of disappear. But I would not trust that to work properly. Come on. Especially if Alfred's made it.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
But there's a fun slide at the end, so I don't know. I might be willing to put up with that because it's fun.
It's like your little reward if you get past the danger.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll also say, though, and before they even get to the Iron Maiden, I tried looking up what fish Bruce had.
Oh,
I thought there might have been like an IMDb for fish, but unfortunately there's not.
well, I know what I'm gonna start creating tomorrow.
Although one thing I did is like they do seem to have the fish that Dory is in Finding Nemo, that blue tang thing.
There you go.
So I was wondering if like, the Dory notoriously has a bad memory. Is this so the fish can't like tout on Batman that they can? Oh, these fish, they don't have good memories. They won't rat. They don't know anything about it.
Yeah, they can't remember past half a second, so
they go into the
they're not
Commissioner Gordon's like, I know who Batman is. Damn it, I had it a minute ago.
That just makes you think of Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks. He knows who the killer is, but he's forgotten.
And that's the thing. I'm always surprised that Harry Truman did not hold that against them. Like, you were on the phone. You called me at about 3 a.m. saying you know who killed Laura Palmer, and the next morning you can't remember. Fuck, I'm calling the FBI. We're getting another guy down here. You can go home, weirdo. But also slightly bugs me though that Bruce, like, he stuck his whole arm into this tank. I will also know too, as a person who's owned fish in the past, that Alfred has to clean that giant fish tank, knowing the amount of algae and stuff that builds up very quickly. That's like an entire day's of work for that old man. So that's that might be his Tuesday. I don't know, but
he's got it on a rota. He knows what he's up to.
And then he just puts his sleeve right back down without even like drawing off his arm.
Yeah, that's what bugs me. Like, there's no towel nearby. There's nothing. It's just like just soaking wet hand. Just gonna go.
That's weird. I haven't thought about that. Oh my god.
Yeah, you think he'd at least like wipe it on his trouser or something like that?
yeah, right. Because I'm sure we've all been there, especially me. I go to some terrible pubs. You go to a pub, you use the bathroom. You wash your hands, if you're lucky enough for the bloody sink to work. But then you go to dry them, and the hand dryer doesn't work. It doesn't even come on. So you're standing there with wet hands. I have wiped them on my jeans. I will be honest. I've wiped them on my trousers. Why doesn't he do that? It's better than getting wet sleeves. Wet sleeves are the worst.
I have to say, like, I never use hand dryers in pubs and stuff. It's just it takes too long. Just wipe it in your trousers and move on with your life.
You know why it takes long though? Because they're cheap. Because they're not good. Like those newfangled Dyson ones you get in like the cinema and like places like that, restaurants. They're good. They actually dry your hands in like 3 seconds flat. But these cheap pieces of crap with cold air.
What's your hand drying policy, Brady? Where do you stand on this?
Oh man, just don't wash your hands at all. Problem solved. So there you go. I haven't washed my hands in 20 years, dude.
Sadly enough, that is a very common male tactic.
Yeah.
Brady's policy is like, I just have a very clean penis, so I never need to use that. Never need to wash my hands.
Good Lord. You know, to change the subject, what are your thoughts on the fact, well, I guess we're not quite there yet. I was going to say the fact that Bruce takes the slide down into the Batcave, and Alfred, you just kind of see him coming down the steps. Like, why didn't he just invite him into the Iron Maiden? I know that might have gotten a little weird, but...
Oh, no, Alfred does say to him, or he does say, like, you coming? And Alfred says, I'll take the stairs, sir. I think Bruce says it to him as a little joke of, like, oh, you want to come? But like, I would love to see the two of them in that thing together. How the hell did that work?
I think it is basically twofold. One, he's built this for Bruce. Of course, Alfred built it himself. He's built this for Bruce just to give him some kind of enjoyment, some kind of fun in his life. You can go down the slide. When I was a little kid, I liked slides and fireman's poles and things like this. And, it's that kind of thing. And also, he's an old man. He's probably scared of getting to the end of that slide and breaking a hip.
Good point.
I do wonder though if they have tried it before, and Alfred's like, "Never again, sir."
What are your thoughts on the new Batcave?
Oh, love it! I think it looks much better than the. Not that I had anything against the first Batcave, but I think this looks much more like what I think the Batcave in my head would always be like, and then it looks.
Right.
The first one looked like it was kind of just set up in a sewer, whereas this one seems more like, oh, it's an actual giant cave and stuff.
This is one of those areas you can see they've got a bigger budget, but it's not gone too overboard. It's not crazy different. It's like they've used the money and things well. They've improved it.
Yeah, there's a really cool move here they're doing with the set in that they're letting so much of it be just nothing but a big black void. So you're kind of filling the space with your own imagination, and they're able to save a lot on the budget, I'm sure, by not having to build so much because you don't have to see so much to understand what's there. So there's a lot of moments where Bruce is just kind of walking by a giant black space and you get it, you just kind of understand that there's more cave there.
Yeah, you never question that, do you? You don't go, oh, that looks weird.
Yeah.
Would
also be remiss though. I think that was a thing, like you actually got the shot of it in the previous minute, but it's more relevant now, so waited to bring it up. In that next to the television in the Wayne study there, you have like the head of like a Roman centurion of some sort, or a Roman soldier.
Yeah.
Which I take it's because it's right next to where the entrance to the Batcave is a little reference to the bust that used to be the entrance to the Batcave in the 60s show, where you'd tilt back the head, press the button, and then the poles would appear and stuff. So I was wondering if they would put it there as a little tease of like, maybe that's how he gets in, and then you find out, no, he's got another method behind the madness and stuff. Of course, in I still actually think this is the Iron Maiden is my favorite entrance to the Batcave of all, though, just because it's so needlessly dangerous and just kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But it's very Bruce to have an Iron Maiden. I mean, in the last movie, we saw that room of armor.
I did find reading about someone's done an analysis of Batman Returns online. And they had a really nice little write-up of the whole thing of the Iron Maiden, where I thought, like, oh, I'll have to quote this. Where they say, it's certainly a unique symbol for descending into an underworld, i.e. becoming Batman. An Iron Maiden pierces the body with spikes and nails that are strategically placed so as to not damage any vital organs, thus dragging out the torturous death from blood loss. The victim is also forced to remain standing, much as Bruce must endure as Batman, even if it is as a tortured existence. Opening the Iron Maiden will instantly kill the victim, and we will see what this would do to Bruce Wayne's psyche as the film continues. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Artsy way of looking at it. I like that.
Where did you find that again?
It was just a random write-up. I was just like going through stuff. There's someone, I think, who's doing an analysis of the movie. I was annoyed I didn't find it before this week. Doing an analysis of the movie 1 week at a time, or one scene at a time. I was like, oh, I could have been using this the whole damn time.
Wow, that's fitting.
Only found it 89 minutes into the damn project. But yeah. So then we get. I do also wonder too, because how long is the slide? Because it seems to be like Bruce zips down it. It seems like it's maybe like 3 feet or something.
Right, like it's right under the house, which I guess it's kind of supposed to be. But I was wondering the same thing. Like, just is this some big like windy slide, kind of like I don't know if you guys have this where you are, but at McDonald's there's the play place or whatever, and it's this big playground like outside of the restaurant. Oh. And they always have these like big slides that just kind of like they're enclosed. And I used to get so dizzy on them when I was a little kid, and I'd come out the bottom of it and just like start stumbling everywhere. Like I got drunk within the slide. So, yeah.
I think we used to have those when I was a kid, but these days you don't really see that anymore. For some reason, McDonald's has like scaled back everything it does. Like when I was a kid, everyone would have birthday parties at McDonald's, and Ronald would come out and you'd play games and things. Now, none of that. It's too expensive. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
There's a place in like a little play center next to the KFC in my hometown. But I was because it's only opened in the last like 10 years or so. But it's called PlayStations. I'm like, surely that's really? Like there's got to be copyright infringement happening there somewhere. You can't just call it PlayStations.
You can't do that.
Yeah, maybe because they're like, oh, it's PlayStations. So we get away with that. Yeah, plain and simple.
We can get away with that. Yeah.
Huh. I think it's currently run by Vanilla Ice. That's how he's. I know all the twists and turns how to get out of that.
Yeah.
For some reason,
another thing I noticed.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No. Go ahead. You're still on the current topic, so I'm not.
Well, I'm on the current topic, but it has nothing to do with Batman. No, it just reminds me of the story relatively recently, last few weeks, of I don't even want to call him a rapper, Soulja Boy. He was selling these really bad fake video game consoles from China, branded with his name, like Soldier Game, they were called. And they were, they could play everything. Everything under the sun, because they really? Played Mega Drive, Genesis in America, Super Nintendo, things like this. And it was just fake. And I think he got sued, or he was threatened to be sued, so it got withdrawn. But now he's back with another one. And somehow he thought he would get away with it again. And he's like, it's going to have Fortnite on it. I don't think it's gonna. Somehow.
That's such a bizarre way for a career to turn, though. Like, oh, I'm a rapper, and now I'm selling knockoff, rip-off game consoles? Like, what happened there?
Yeah. It's fantastic. Clever. I love it. You can buy them from his website, or you can get them cheaper without his branding, the exact same console, on Alibaba. the Chinese like Amazon equivalent.
You seem to have looked into this quite a bit, John. Like, I'm sure have you got a Soldier Boy console winging its way to you or something?
We've got the Bat-Minute console coming soon.
There you go.
It may only play that Sega Genesis version of the Batman Returns game, though. Like, that's the only. You're literally paying £200 just to play that one game.
What more do you want? Come on. And it's got my face on the box, Niall's face on the box. You're happy. There you go.
I'd get it for that reason alone. For sure.
Well, to say though, because Brady, you talked about Alfred's he zipped down these stairs. And again, we talked about in the soup week when that came up. Alfred seems to be taking a long time getting down the stairs. So I guess maybe now he's not got a handful of tray that he can zip on down. But it is kind of how far is it between the house and this? Is it supposed to be like a good 5-minute gap? Or is it literally like, oh no, this section of the cave is literally right beneath everything?
It kind of answers the question as to how long is that slide that Bruce is on. How long would it have taken Alfred to get on a flight of stairs and get down there? So who knows? These are the big questions in life.
The thing is, too, because you would assume Bruce he'd be going faster. So unless it's like it's excessively long. It takes the time for Alfred to get there. But
or Alfred is just that fast. So
yeah. I also wonder too, like, because we made a joke at the time about the fishy swa, saying like, oh, maybe it was actually hot soup at the top of the stairs, but by the time he got down, then it got cold. But it would have been something if he had also in past instances tried to pass down food through the Iron Maiden. And then, like, it just clattered on top of Bruce and just scalded him and stuff. So he's like, I only send down cold food now, so I'm not taking that risk again.
So we see Alfred sit down and put the headphones on. I mean, he's in on it. He's part of the whole mission and everything.
Yeah.
We didn't see that in the first movie, I don't think. So I'm wondering if, because, there was a plan to put Robin in this movie and then they tossed that. If this is sort of getting Alfred involved is sort of filling that space that's now open because they ditched the Robin idea. And I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on Alfred being a part of the whole thing to this degree?
I think like it does have a very different twist on him because, as we noted in the last season, his whole game plan there seemed to be like he only helped begrudgingly, and it was that he wanted Vicky Vale to hook up with Bruce so that she could snap him out of the whole thing. This movie seems to have, like, whatever happened between him and Vicky obviously has changed Alfred in as much as he seems to be a lot more supportive now of the whole Batman idea and stuff. So much so that, he is down here ready to get down and dirty in helping to stop the Penguin and stuff. I do like it though. I always appreciate. I just love Alfred as a character. I always enjoy seeing little bits and bobs of him and stuff, and particularly when he's much more active in the story, I'm always very supportive of that.
Hell
so
yeah.
I love the fact that he's down here with the getting the DJ Pennyworth headphones on, like ready to.
Giving Michael Goff that much. Okay, I gotta ask: is it? I know you've already answered this question. Is it Goff or Go?
I think it is Goff.
Okay.
I think it's Goff like cough, but I keep calling him Michael Go myself at the time.
It's because Goff, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sit well with the way I pronounce it. I don't know. It sounds like I'm saying Goth. Michael Goff.
I don't think we ever made our peace with like Kim Basinger either. Like I think throughout the entire season we're like, Kim Basinger. No, it's Basinger. It's Basinger.
Remember, I looked it up. I got it from her own mouth. Not in person. I didn't go around and like ask her.
I know. I mean, I think we did look it up, much like the Goff thing. But I think even after that, it was still referring to her as Basinger and Basinger.
Wasn't it
and all this
Basinger was the actual pronunciation?
I think it was Basinger, like Bay. I
don't even remember. Like, that shows that you're right.
That's just, I guess, this is like Kim herself was listening to this. She'd be like, "That's every person I've ever known. No one has ever gotten the name right."
We're just going to start telling people you're right, so no matter what they're saying.
Maybe her best friend on set was Michael Goff. It's like, no one understands our pain.
I feel you.
Yeah. I love, in the Dark Knight trilogy, you got to see Alfred supporting the idea of Batman up until the last movie when he's like, you got to stop doing this and all this. And it's just kind of a reversal here, where in the first film, Michael whatever was telling him, you gotta, you can't do this. You gotta live a normal life. You gotta get out of this whole thing. And now from here on, he's very supportive of it and kind of in on the mission. So I don't know if he's kind of seeing the difference that this does make for the greater good, or if it's still driving his, I don't know. Driving this guy he works for crazy.
Could have been just an observation of like, oh yeah, if you hadn't shown up to take out those balloons, the Gotham police weren't doing anything. So I guess we do need Batman around. So I didn't realize how completely inept the police of the city actually are.
It's pretty bad. He gets to flip on these switches in one of the next shots, and I'm trying to read like what's on them and make sense of what's on them, and it's pretty hard. But do you guys have any idea what any of that means?
No. I think I've looked at it myself, but it's just like it just seems to be like kind of like, to me it seems very like generic.
Yeah,
technical
I guess that's the
button
point.
stuff.
It's the kind of stuff you would
Yeah.
sort of get on like a mixer, but it's not worded the way I've seen it worded. But it's got like hand over one, hand over two. I'm assuming that's like transferring, switching from one to the other, you know, that kind of thing. Ident, test.
Ooh. They've got hold and dom. Like, ooh, we're getting into here.
I thought that was DQM. Maybe I'm blind.
Oh, maybe it is DQM.
Let's say DQM.
Where my own mind is going there.
Alfred on the old mixer there. You know, he's doing his own podcast. What podcast would he do? That's what I want to know. What would he be into? Because, of course, in the more modern movies, he's got quite an action-packed history, a background, hasn't he?
Oh, you think he'd be doing like old war stories or something like that? So
let's, okay. As long as you're kind of opening up a opportunity here for me to bring up this TV series Pennyworth. Have you guys heard about this?
Oh yes.
What in the hell?
I'm torn because I don't think they've done. As I sort of indicated earlier, I'm not too keen on Gotham, and I'm worried it's going to be like that. The concept of a Pennyworth show could work if it's that kind of Alfred, you know, the old war hero Alfred.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that what they're doing?
I have no idea, but I'm with you on that. But who knows?
Then there is also as good as it could end up being. Who's asking for it at the same time?
Yeah,
that's also the thing too. Like, how's that Krypton show getting on? Because they do have the show set on Krypton. I think it might even have been finished its first season. But I remember hearing like, oh, we got a show set on Krypton. Doesn't feature Superman. I don't even think it features Jor-El. It's just like, yep, we just got a show set in Krypton. I was like, David S. Goyer is writing it. And I was like, that doesn't sound like that would be very good. But I think it's been on air. I don't know if it's actually. I think you have a quick Google just make sure it's not been cancelled.
I'm sure it's at least been on for a pilot. I seem to remember something. I saw the like main header of it.
I think I'm fairly certain I've seen it. Like, it's been skimming through the TV channels that it's been on, like the Sci-Fi channel.
See, for all I know, it's the best show on TV, but I've not heard anyone talking about it.
Oh, so yeah, it's got 59% in Rotten Tomatoes. So, and its last episode aired in May 2018. So I don't know if that's. Oh no, it's been renewed for the second season, so I guess it's getting on okay.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
I think every show should have 2 seasons. Because...
All right, Netflix, calm down over there.
You know, so many shows really kick into gear in season 2. And I think it's not fair to cut it off after 1. You at least have to give them a chance to do an ending.
Right. I'm with you on that. It seems like, a lot of TV series that I try and get into, it's I'll usually come in late to a lot of them. And so, the first season, sometimes even the second one, it's still finding its voice and everything. And then by the third season, they usually end up picking up and you're like, okay, I get it now. I'm on board. They have found their voice. They know what they're doing. And you're right, man. I think at least one second season is just... a good idea for a show to have if someone had given that opportunity.
Now, obviously, I understand that financially that might be a risk, but a lot of shows took off in the second, the third season, stuff like. I mean, the most famous of all, of course, are every single Star Trek after the original. So,
Oh yeah, that's the thing. People forget. Like, the first season of The Next Generation is horrendous. Like, it's an awful, awful season of TV.
See,
then it's mid season 2. They're like, oh wait a minute, now we got it.
Yeah. See, and now that how many years did that go on for in the end? What was it, like 8 years, 9 years? And then there's the movies.
Yeah. And plus, I think back in the day too, because that was all like 22 episodes a season and stuff like that. It's very British and different on British TV, where they're like, you're lucky if you get like 3 seasons out of a show, and it's like you're gonna get six episodes, half hour.
Yeah.
You better do it right now. Like, if you ain't got this thing sorted out and the show is perfect from the get-go, you're screwed.
We're evil.
Right.
It's just like Faulty Towers only existed for 12 episodes, but they had to be that good from the first one in order to be remembered today.
That is all I have, fellas.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got to. I was just saying about like the fact that Bruce gets to turn on a whole bunch of little switches himself and stuff. You get these random things just rotating things. It really reminded me in Ed Wood when Bela Lugosi's just kind of complaining about like the random stuff they have in his laboratory, and he's got like those little balls with like the or like the little the things with like the electricity coming off them and stuff. It's like, oh no, keep that thing away from me and stuff. But like, I'm sure it probably pained Tim Burton to not have like weird old like horror movie Frankenstein lab stuff in here. Like, oh, we'll get one of those balls that makes your hair stand up and end. And like, we'll get...
I do think it's great that you see like the little, like you're talking about, the things spinning around. We see that and we're like, oh, okay, cool. Things are working. We're getting stuff done because the little things are spinning around. So
I think the last shot is that you get the penguin, him on the screen giving a speech. But it's supposed to say find frequency, but they've blended the F and the I together, so it looks like and frequency, which is...
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no one's going to notice. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Just keep moving.
I've got one final question before we do sort of move on.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, I should probably say one thing first. Bruce does put on Cobblepot's speech. That's important for the next minute. He's put Cobblepot's speech on. But my question, why has Bruce put on a jacket to go down to the Batcave? Is it cold?
It's drafty down there.
It's gonna be chilly down there, man. It's got some big exposed open cave.
Yeah, okay, I understand. A light jacket isn't gonna help.
Maybe that's why he was so yearning for hot soup earlier. That he's like, oh, it's freezing down here, and then he got cold soup. He's like, oh, what the hell? What, Jesus, dude?
I need something hot.
Gotta get pneumonia down here. Are you crazy?
Right, just put in central heating, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'll get a portable heater. I've got one next to me now.
There you go.
I do wonder, like, if they've ever... I'm sure maybe some random comic book will address it, but, like, does the Batcave have some sort of central heating system, or is it just like, nah, you can't heat this thing, man? It's too vast. Like, it's too much open space. Yeah. I've got that problem at the minute, because I've moved into a new place that has an ensuite bathroom. And it's got a bathtub there. It's like, oh, I'm going to use the hell out of that bathtub. But now, because we're still in winter, there's too much of a gap between the radiator and the bathtub. So it's like this big open space that is impossible to heat. So it's just like, I can't use that now until it heats up. The weather gets better? Come on. Like, I can't jump into a nice warm bath and then have to leap out into the freezing cold. And
yeah.
So I was like, nah, I'm just waiting for those summer months to kick in. Then I'm going to be bath central, baby. But yeah, I think that's all the notes I got for this minute myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. So we will
same here.
Depart once more to fight crime. But Brady, in the meantime, would you like to tell our listeners once more where they can find you online and your great work?
Yeah, if you want to just, I don't know, look back into Movies by Minutes podcasts of the past. There's Jurassic Park Minute, Ghostbusters Minute, and Goonies Minute somewhere out there. And like I said in the last episode, there's, I think, 2 more coming out from Pele Media, but I am not involved with them. But if you just stay tuned, and look at the Movies by Minutes Facebook group, you're bound to see some information pretty soon. So that's where.
And do check them out, everyone, because they're great movies and a great show, great shows, plural. They're all fantastic. So yes, give them a listen. And give us a listen again on Friday, which you should be doing anyway. You should be scheduled in 3 days a week with us. Everything else can wait. You can be late to work. It doesn't matter. Use us as an excuse. I was listening to Bat Minute. Your boss will be like, okay, fine, whatever. Cool. I'm on board with this. This is a great idea. Everyone should be late for work to listen to the show. And yes, join us again on Friday for minute 90. See you again on Friday. Next time, We're jammin', and I hope you like jammin' too. As a rotund raptor enraptures a rabble, Bruce decides to give DJing a bit of a dabble while jamming the signal to Oswald's gabble. But can use of phonic files to bite a foul phony on the tail lead to a major campaign trail fail? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.